All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Ouran High School Host Club, episode 14. We had Alice in Wonderland last week. That was
wacky. Trippin'.
Yep.
But she has a great family with her.
That's right.
And even though she lost her, well, in some ways, half of her family.
She made a new family.
She made a new one.
And you know what? They're all right.
They're not half bad.
Yeah.
They're pretty great.
They're pretty all right.
Yeah. And while that was a really heartbreaking thing to see how much her mom's influence and just presence in her life, still means to her, even though it's been years and years and years.
Yeah.
She was a young child at the time.
Yep.
So that
stuff
trauma.
goes deep.
That's deep. Yeah. It's not something that's just, she seems to be a relatively mature, wise teenager at this time. It's like, no.
Maybe go, also get some therapy and stuff to help process it and things. Because this responsible side of her and this nature that she's taken on is in response
exactly.
to that.
Yeah.
So,
in the same way that kind of it's a response to her dad. And on a lot of the situations with the two of them trying to just
find some sort of semi-working dynamic.
A semblance of sanity, if you will.
Touche.
Yeah. It always comes back to that.
Right.
So, y'all, if we get more kind of character-focused stuff, this is the formula, if you will. Every once in a while we break up the kind of the heavy character drama and comedy with a wacky, maybe fillery episode. Yeah, I think that could be pretty good. Yeah. So
I personally wouldn't mind another Renga episode.
I think Renga will just be like the banana peel. She will be
just always sort of insert herself into the story.
Exactly. Constant commentary.
That's right.
There will be no end to Renga's reign. Indeed.
Yeah.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
ついに購読者が一桁となりました。
We need more drama.
数を報告なさい。2部です。
How did you know?
It was them. It was both of them.
では部員以外は誰も買ってないということです。
Oh my
正
god.
確に報告すればそういうことになります。
Wow.
You might shut down anyway.
ちなみにホスト部の写真集「好き好き玉木くんスペシャル」は発売と同時に
Wow.
1000部が完売して
Oh my god. That is amazing. Oh my god.
すでに増刷がかかっています。そうですか。
姫、今ならばこのアジサイが我々の姿を隠してくれるでしょう。
The spirits of the hydrangeas.
姫。姫たちお手柔らかにね。カオルのやつ泣き虫だから。光る。嘘つけ。とかなんとか言って。僕と二人っきりで罰ゲームしたらどうなっちゃうんだっけ？顔。ハルヒ、伏せろ！手まりも満足にできないなんて、オーランの光源氏の名がなくね。何？
Oh no, it's gonna go through the window.
でもそれで損害を
Smack him in the back of the head. Yep.
Oh, wait!
He's dead.
すみません。
しかしちょうどよかった。実はホスト部にぜひ取材協力をお願いできないかと思っていたところでしてね。お願いします。1学期最後の新聞はぜひ
Let us cover you.
取材特集号で皆様の魅力の真実に迫りたいと思っています。
I mean,
その話お引き受けします。
Yep, kill it, yep.
俺のせいで彼は怪我を。だよな。
Oh no, they're gonna
今
leverage
まで
it
散々
now.
デタラメ書いてたとこに協力して僕らのメリットがあるとも思えないし。
Oh.
頭の痛みが。
Yep.
ありがとう。右京くん、左京くん。やっぱりめまいが。
人は必ずやり直せる。
Oh.
ホスト部の
Yes, I knew it!
Oh no.
全面協力すると。
僕らやんないよ。
お前らには血も涙もないのか。
Yes.
部に追い込まれる彼らを見てかわいそうとは思わんのか。
いかりさんなんだぞ。
これは部長命令だ。断ることは許さん。
お断りします。
すごく近くにいるがあえて目を合わせないという子供の喧嘩だな。
たまちゃんは寂しがり屋さんだからね。
部活とは家族なのに。
Yeah, I remember he started this club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
そのうちチラチラこちらを子犬のような目で見始めて、結局こっちが折れざるを得なくなるという妙な確信が。それにヒカルたちだって普段なら乗りそうな話じゃない？
That's a good point.
今回は面倒なだけ。
ハニー先輩たちは？
僕ケーキ食べなきゃならないからね。
There's just no time. He's already doing it.
Yeah.
あの目だ。
There it is.
But you know, Haruhi, you're admitting that you can't say no to those eyes, but maybe they can.
条件をつけるぞ。
Okay.
特集記事の企画はこちらで提示したものにすること。基本
Alright.
的にインタビューは禁止。接客風景もお客様にご迷惑だからアウトだ。
きょうちゃんが言うならいいよ。
Which means they'll have to make up stuff in a lot of ways to make it interesting.
Yeah, we know who wears the pants in this club.
Right, right.
取材をさせていただけるなら条件は守ります。
But you
むし
saying
ろこ
that.
の怪我のおかげでご縁ができて感謝したいくらいです。
本当に申し訳ありませんでした。せめてものお詫びにこの薬をお使いください。うちの会社で作っている救急医療セットです。
うちの父親は小松沢出版の社長です。
Is he gonna try and extort them even further?
存じております。新聞部部長をなさっているのは将来後を継ぐ時の準備ですか？
ですが私には弟がおりましてね。父は将来出版社の経営をすべてその弟に任せるつもりなんです。兄であるこの私を差し置いてですよ。わかりますか？絶対にこの部を廃部にはできないんです。
失礼します。
Yeah.
Oh.
本来なら校内新聞の力で私がこの学院の人気者になるはずだったのに。
He stole your spotlight.
が突如立ち上げたホスト部が瞬く間に人気を集めてしまった。
So what you're saying is it's everyone else's fault you're not that popular?
人気がなかったと聞いていますが。お黙りなさい。私がママに頼めば。
Oh no. Oh
君た
no.
ちの家との取引をすべてなしにできるんですよ。奴はきっと親の権威で仲間を従わせて女子を好き放題にしているんです。
My
人
God.
よしキャラを演じていますが、奴には絶対裏がある。
Oh, he
This is
does.
Kyoya you're actually talking about here.
Or at least he's trying to be.
He's trying to be, yeah.
だるまさんが転んだ。だるまさんが転んだ。
Kyoya in the very back.
これは一体何の光景でしょうか？
新手の宗教でしょうか。他にも庶民の遊びには
Oh my God, yes.
身一つで楽しめるものがたくさんあるのですよ。
それがうちの取材とどういう
親しみやすさ。
Accessibility.
庶民の遊びに
There's actually some pretty sincere attempts at helping you.
屋外で初夏の爽やかな背景も相まって一面を飾るにぴったりな麗しさ。
Uh-huh.
まるで意味がわかりません。
あの人実はただのバカなのでは？
I mean, of course he
油断
is.
してはなり
And
ませ
people
ん。
love him for it.
これは奴の作戦です。君はなぜこの部に？
ちょっとした不注意で。
君は特待生ですよね。つまりその君が部の一員であることは周防の家の権力誇示のための格好の素材であるわけだ。
あの人に裏の顔なんてないですよ。
じゃあ何か君は高校生の彼らが本気でこんな遊びを楽しんでいるとでも？
おかしいですか？
ありえないだろう。
Ah.
ほら、そこは切るところじゃないぞ。よーし、スターライトキック。
Wait. Yeah, I don't think they do.
私に通用するとでも思っておる。
とても裏の顔のある人には。
Oh.
でもそういえば玉木先輩の家のことって何も知らないな。
No one's gonna get past Kyoya.
迷ったんですか？迷ったんですね。
おい、ハルヒ、ここにいい隠れ場所があるよ。
迷ったんだ。
Woof
ふざけ
woof.
てます？はあ、でも高校生にもなってこんな遊びをするとは思いませんでした。
俺は同年代の友達があまり
Ah, this rendition of the OP.
You know, I was gonna say, yeah, yeah.
病気がちでね。そして母を元気づけるためにいつもそばでピアノを弾いたりしてた。
Ah, so that's how he knew how to play the piano in the previous
Yeah.
episode.
楽しい。
記事を仕上げます。
しかし部
God.
長、
証拠もないまま周防のゴシップなど書くのはあ まりに危険かと。
Especially since that's the reputation that you have right now.
奴が尻尾を出す記事を書けばいいのです。
やっぱりそうだ、
Oh, the twins.
バレバレだったけど、
気づいてないのどのくらいなんじゃない？
言っとくけどうちの殿に手出したらただ
We'll
じ済まない。
destroy you.
ヒタチンはもちろんうちの部全員の家を敵に回す覚悟あんの？
タマちゃんはそういうことしないよ。僕らはタマちゃんのことが大好きだから。
Go.
どうしようもない。
Yeah.
畜生、もうスオだけじゃない。お前ら全員破滅させてやる。
どうぞご自由に。
Yeah.
昨日か
Oh!
らおたくらの発言を盗聴、録音させてもらったこのディスクはどうすればいいの？
Nice. Nice.
Easy clap.
あなた
You'd
流
think
の
you
や
were
り方は
undone.
こういうことです。うちのおとりグループとヒタチンの持ち株だけでも、あなたの父親の出版社なんて好きに社長を変えられることも覚えておいた方がいい。
Oh my
だ
god.
けど俺たち
Yeah, we would never do that.
見つけた。
新聞部は
休養で取材中止だって。
Oh.
こ
Okay.
れからはまとめの記事書くって言ってたよ。
そういえば京也先輩、
ん？
スオの家ってそんなにすごいんですか？
まあ事業としては古くから金融業を基盤に、ほら聞いたことないか？ロアグランホテルとかオート劇場とか、あとはお前も知っての通り学校経営と。
Oh, school
どこの
management.
学校ですか？
このオーランだよ。
Whoa.
お前自分の学校の理事長くらい覚えておいた方がいいぞ。そうか、よく考えてみればお前は玉木の家の援助で入学できたようなもんじゃないか。感謝しておけよ。
春日また迷子になっちゃいますよ。
Wow. Wow.
Her face just like. I was like, when is it gonna change? When is it gonna
Oh,
change?
that's great. That's great.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
So it was another club.
Yep.
It wasn't like a Lobelia exact kind of situation, but it was very similar.
Yes, 3 characters antagonistic to the club and all that stuff, and then they must be defeated in one way or another.
Right.
And of course, Kyoya is so leagues ahead of them. Like once he brought in the thing, I was like, all right, what's the situation there? I can't believe I didn't realize that it's the hidden recording device,
Because
right?
you thought he was recording things before he even brought that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you brought that up like 5 minutes into the episode.
Right, I figured that was just something that he'd be doing, and
Yeah.
and it's poetic that that's how it ended up getting resolved, because they're the
Right.
newspaper club, and not only that, they're the tabloid. So
Yeah.
you'd think things like that would be stuff that they
That'd
would
be their forte.
that'd be their bread and butter,
Right.
Because it's not that you necessarily have to have it be something that's completely false. I mean, sure, if you can't get anything, right? But
Have a kernel of truth to it.
yeah, have a kernel of truth to it. Take a recording, put it out of context, and now of course you can't do that in a newspaper, but you could be like, we did get a recorded thing, and then if you could have that as proof,
Right.
and be like, no, they did say these exact things, and then do the whole Dolores Umbridge, like
Extrapolation.
just splice up the quotes.
Oh, that too. Yeah, yeah.
But
Oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah.
Okay, so it was Yuki Kaji that was there.
Yep.
Also, apparently, the leader of the club was voiced by Mista from
that's-
JoJo's, and
which is
also
just
apparently
so cool.
the dad in ReZero. So that was really cool.
And apparently, Yuki Kaji's role in this was like his first role, other than like a bit he did in 1998 for Pokemon, like
Yeah,
probably
when he
as
was a
like a little
kid.
kid.
Yeah.
But like, so
It's like, all right, that's really cool.
Because Yuki Kaji like is a more recent voice actor. I feel like
he's
so
very young.
So I was very surprised to hear him in a show this old.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's only 2006.
But story-wise, this episode simply focused a bit on Tamaki and the families, and
Right.
the way that the families kind of hold maybe some interest in the goings-on of the clubs. Mm-hmm. That was more of a focus, really, with the newspaper club, in that there was a situation that maybe Kyoya understands a little bit of, in that there's a brother dynamic where the father is going to choose the younger brother to inherit the company.
Probably because he knows how to run a newspaper.
Yeah, and Kyoya has like 3 brothers,
Yes.
And I don't know.
I believe they're older.
I don't know what the age thing is with them, but at the very least, they all are basically clones of his dad.
Right, from what it seems.
Of their dad. But it definitely feels like, if anything, because they're maybe kissing up a bit to their dad or something, or they're just kind of being Papa's little drones, you know?
Right.
That they have more of a chance of being involved with the company in the future.
And or maybe that I wouldn't be surprised if Kyoya felt a want to distance himself from that because he wouldn't just want to be another drone, right? Like he still takes a lot of the teachings from the fact that, like, oh yeah, my father's company does all this stuff, so I'm very knowledgeable. I'm very knowledgeable about this stuff. I know how to run a company. I know how to run this club financially. I know about the whole medical equipment stuff and all that. Like I know my stuff, but
I don't want to be one of them.
But I'm being in a host club, which I'm guessing is something that his father would probably see as a waste of time.
Yeah. And given that, there's a couple things that we can see that they're just setting up with regards to maybe a source of conflict for him. But Tamaki got the lion's share of the development and focus here by just kind of putting him in situations where maybe we'd expect him to be a little bit of an idiot, and he was in some of them. But in other ones, we saw him reveal that no, he's actually a really awkward, wholesome boy.
Well, yeah. He may be an idiot, but he cares a lot, right?
He cares a lot. And
maybe more than he should, you know?
Right. And he brought everyone into this club in a way that spoke to them.
Oh my God.
This is the part that I really feel like is why they have no problems calling him king.
That, even though there is a Shadow King.
Oh, of course there's a Shadow King.
Naturally.
Yeah, that's his and Kyoya's agreement, is that Tamaki's like, oh, look, I know that you're probably going to end up doing more of this than me. And now Tamaki might not be this smart in order to do this and stuff. But I'm sure he's bumped into Kyoya at times in the past. And he's like, don't worry, I won't bump into you anymore.
Tamaki, I feel like, is the kind of best friend where you trust them with your life, but nothing less than that. You know, it's the like
oh, I know exactly what you mean. Yes. I was like, wait a minute, what does he mean? Oh, right. I literally had a picture of a person in my life where I'm like, yep, that's exactly the. Yep.
Where like if someone were to show up and like have a gun to one of their heads, they would trust Tamaki to like run in and take the bullet for them, right?
Oh my God.
But for any kind of situation that wasn't as serious as that, it's you can't trust him as far as you can throw him.
And now like this is funny, but like I would basically equate Tamaki to a dog here.
Yeah.
And in this episode, he's and he was even goofing around with it with Haruhi when they were alone. So we know it's not as performative as, you know, all as it all is. Now, a lot of it might be just performative for Haruhi.
Yeah, because he definitely does do that.
But if this is a thing of where Doggo just wants to just be good to the people around him and make sure that they're all smiling.
And he's figured out how to be very good at that.
Yeah, and I think what it is that, you know, Tamaki, in the same way that, well, you know, our little boy Honey Senpai mentioned, he gets lonely very easily. And what, you know, our doggo boy didn't want, because I believe they said it's been 2 years of him with this club.
Right, because he started it when he joined high school.
Right.
Yeah, and they're in the 3rd year now, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So something about this was, well, okay, let me just throw something out there. One of the things that I think is assumed a little bit is that it's like, well, because it started in the 1st year, the second he joined the high school, he immediately went and the club formed. That's not possible. That's not how it works. Okay. You need 5 people in order to have a club.
Sure, and even if it took him just a couple days to round everybody up,
even if he did it all in the first day, he gets lonely very easily. So he had a compulsive need to form this club.
I like it. I like it.
So the club and the maybe what it formed into is maybe just irrelevant, or maybe it's just a revelation of what Tamaki's character flaw is that he's very egotistical and absorbed with himself.
Yes.
But the way he recruited all of them had nothing to do with it being a host club. He was just saying, I'm making a club. Would you just join this club with me?
Okay, that's a fun interpretation on it.
So he's basically just like,
I don't doubt that.
I need people, and
Right.
this is my gift. I'm a gregarious, extroverted,
and
social butterfly.
I absolutely believe that he would have enough confidence and belief in his abilities that he would be like, hold on. Just having 4 other people in a club, that's not enough for me. My appetites, are not filled so easily, so I'll make it a host club so that way I'll be getting attention all the time, you know?
But I think that was once he had his need fulfilled of not being lonely. People don't usually grab people in this way and manner just to have the thing on the top, like the boon. They do it to fulfill like a survival thing, to bring them up to 0, where they can then strike off with them and make something cool out of it. So I think he was lonely, formed a club specifically to combat that, and then was like, what's a really good, fun thing that the group of us all together can
host
do?
Club.
Host club,
right? Yeah.
And what I'm guessing it was that he's such a good friend as far as things go, in the way that he addressed each of them individually, that he is their glue. He is the thing that keeps all these very different people together.
They all have their pairs and everything, but what makes them actually stick together?
Yeah.
And now it was done for comedy, but I just want to point out that he goes through and he talks to all of them in their own language and things like that. And then with Takashi, good old Mori.
Yeah.
Oh, Mori senpai. And that's it.
He even did a little thing
exactly.
Him,
Just that nonverbal communication. Like, oh my god, that was amazing. And the idea that Mori understood. Like, it was like a thing of like, let's vibe. You know, like let's hang out. You know?
Exactly.
Oh, what are we doing? Who cares? You know, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Also, there's a possibility. Given the fact that he had to approach Takashi specifically.
Yes.
There's a very strong possibility that this was before Mori and Honey were friends.
I agree.
And in fact,
logically,
they might have become friends as a result of the club.
I think so.
I think that is a very strong possibility.
I would say that there's a small possibility that the martial arts connection might have existed outside
and they
of
were
high school.
already in the same class and everything. So that is a potential strong connection, kendo and martial arts. And Honey is definitely the bubbly kind of student that I absolutely believe would have grabbed Takashi and just been like, all right, I'm gonna keep you, you know. But yeah,
that would have been sweet, kind of
sweet.
Yes, pun intended. To kind of be the foundation for their friendship. But that's a good point with regards to the idea that the friendships forming in the group, because when I was thinking about these characters, I thought of them initially just as archetypes. You know, they just are there to fulfill their slot in the reverse harem.
The twins, the silent type, the smart type, the popular type. You know,
and that is what they're here for.
Yeah,
but this is one of the main reasons they're here.
More than that.
Well, not just are they more than that, but what are the ways in which they became that in the story? Will the story ever give us an idea as to why they're that as to anything else?
Sure.
And one of the things that this seemed to hint at, possibly, is a reason for Tamaki to be that here.
Yeah.
And they brought up the idea that Tamaki's family is involved in the school administration of Ouran Academy.
Yes.
But not just any member of his family.
The superintendent of
the chairman.
Right.
The lead dog in this academy is his father. What do they call Tamaki in the club? King. What would his father, a patriarchal figure in the school, if it has an air of royalty about it, be kind of
even if
archetypally kind of
even if he's not called that?
No, not called that at all. But in Tamaki's mind, maybe?
Well, and also another way to think about it is that, so Tamaki, there's the possibility that he would have a bunch of people wanting to be friends with him because he's the son of the
possible.
The president of Ouran or whatever, right?
It's very possible, yeah.
There's also a possibility that people would be like, I don't know, that's a bit intimidating, you know, maybe not. Now, at this, you know, super wealthy, rich school, maybe people wouldn't have a problem with that.
I'm
right?
sure that in a lot of ways, none of them are actually intimidated by Tamaki.
Probably not. Yeah. Probably not. But there's also the idea that with the idea of that role that his father has, like, because we had the newspaper club, and they were very much trying to throw around their clout, their position, their whatever, right, of their parents. And apparently, it doesn't amount to much, right? Like,
nope. No one buys their stuff. Haruhi didn't even know that they existed.
Right. And their parents wouldn't actually be able to do anything, right? In fact,
I mean, maybe they could do something, but it's irrelevant.
Right. But if push came to shove, Kyoya even mentioned that no, we could get your parents like to lose their jobs if we wanted to. Yeah. Like that's the kind of clout that our families hold. But we're not going to do that because that's not the kind of people we are. In Tamaki's case, he is a very egotistical person, right?
Yes, you could assume that he would be like that.
You could assume that he would be like that, or at the very least, that if his dad did all of these things that were helpful for people, especially for maybe the girl that he's crushing on. That and I'm not saying that his dad specifically singled out Haruhi and was like, yes, make sure that she's in the school, or that Tamaki had anything to do with that. But the idea that his dad probably was part of setting the rules and everything that would allow someone like Haruhi with no money to get into a prestigious school like this because her grades were that good, right? And there is, for a lesser person, Tamaki totally could have put 2 and 2 together and then been like, you know what? You kind of owe my family. Like, you owe a lot of your success and all of that stuff to us. No, he never even mentioned it.
Nope.
He never even mentioned it. Like, and not even just that he didn't mention it, he probably didn't even care enough about that kind of stuff for it to even really come up in his mind. In a lot of ways, you might say he's too stupid for that, right?
Well,
but
yeah, I'm not thinking that we have an antagonist in Tamaki's father necessarily.
Oh, no, me neither. Yeah.
But what I am saying, though, is that there might be a desire to emulate that is a common theme now between a couple of the characters in Kyoya, in a kind of I'm desiring to make sure I'm not like that. And then, the newspaper club guy with the desire to
be the one that his
prove to his father that
I
I can do this stuff.
And
then Tamaki being just someone that has that role as a figure out there, and yet he's peacocking his way through high school to great effect, I would say.
Definitely, quite successfully, yeah.
But I always wonder with these types of characters where they show their goofy side.
If it's actually...
If the peacocking part of it is actually the fakest part.
Sure, because what's that saying, that you can tell a lot about a culture by looking at their comedy, right? Because the comedy, the jokes are basically the unspoken thoughts of the society, right? Like the things that you wouldn't necessarily say or you don't truly think, but it sits around in your head enough that you make jokes about it, right?
The jokes that are received well, primarily.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's the I understood that reference, right? It's
gotcha.
Communicating some
that man's playing Galaga.
Right, exactly. Some universal thought of
right.
Oh, I get it, right?
Okay.
And in the situation with a lot of these characters, since so much of what they do is for comedy, right? Both for us, the audience, but then also for the girls around them, right? The whole idea of the host club, where does that come from? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this was sort of like a communal gathering place for some of the wealthy kids that are have complicated feelings about maybe their status, position, whatever, and then they're distancing themselves from the things that their parents do.
Whoa, that's really deep.
Like
I don't think this show is that
I don't
deep.
I don't think this show is going to go that crazy with
thought,
it. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like it gives me very much the vibe of like child actors kind of a thing, where it's like there's where responsibilities and things like that can get weird, and then it's the how do you make sure you have a childhood, right? And then
so Tamaki is basically trying to be everyone's King Daddy and be like, I want to make sure you all have wholesome, lovely high school journeys.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. That's the side of him that I think makes the most sense, and in a weird, goofy way. His immaturities remind me of a lot of my immaturities.
Oh yeah?
So I feel like I understand a little bit of him. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that my strengths necessarily correlate to his strengths because I am not that gregarious. but I can definitely see a couple of my flaws in him where I'm like, okay, depending on what they do with the father angle, I might have a pretty decent read on his character. But
I could also see the father angle being just absent. Because super busy, right?
Super busy.
And then it's the thing of
loneliness correlates
right,
a bit to
hence
that.
loneliness, right?
And isn't he an only child?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because that was the whole big deal of how he got excited kind of about a little sister.
Right. Yeah.
That's not his sister. Mm-hmm. But he very much like immediately was like, oh, I'll assume big brother role. Yeah.
Well, and also one of the things that I feel like kind of goes hand in hand with desiring attention is also desiring approval, because people tend to ignore things that aren't important to them, right? Ooh. We ignore things we don't really care about. So if you're getting ignored by something, that's why it's the true like coldest of treatment.
Wait.
What?
Wait. How much do we know about his parents?
Not much. I mean, Haruhi even mentioned, I don't really know much about his family.
Right. But when he left his mansion, like way back ago,
it was
the maid, the old granny maid that saw him out, right?
Right, and was like,
she was so sweet.
Make sure you're wearing your pants.
Why are you not sure? And this is funny because I've watched that episode in the dub since then, and it's funny to hear her be like, I think she has the Pinako voice from FMA.
Oh, really?
She does. Something like that, and it's just like, Tamaki, what are you doing? And it's this kind of feeling of I've raised that boy and you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's this thing of where like I've raised you and you know better than to leave this house without your pants, like that kind of thing. I'm curious for more Tamaki development.
Me too.
But
too.
Y'all, this is a really fun, goofy, quirky episode.
Yep.
Another staple in the Ouran High School host club journey. So y'all,
And as Haruhi was looking at Tamaki in that maze of roses,
they blushed together.
And that part in the OP comes to mind. Maybe you're my love.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just saying. I mean, it's going to be,
definitely.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, we stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.